Hello and welcome back to another Blender tutorial here. And today we're going to be remaking some pumps that we did last time, but somebody said they couldn't hear some of the things I said in it. So I'll try to make everything a little bit more clear today. I've already started by sizing my box or scaling my box. Your project settings may be different, so make sure your project is scaled properly. I'm not going to show you how to do that because, again, it's probably going to be different. We're just going to start off. I just drag that down. We're in the scale over here. We are not in edit mode. I'm going to drag this out, and I'm just going to give us a little base to set the whole thing on to give us a little help with the scaling to make sure it's around the right size. Most pumps have a little edge around it like that. It's just to keep people from running into the pumps mostly, but I would add it if I were you. And we're just going to curve some of these edges. It's on a gas pump island. They are curved. So I have highlighted all the corners. So first left click on the first one, shift left click for the next one, and shift left click and shift left click. We are in edit mode, as you can see. We can tab in and out. We are now in edit mode with tab. We're going to control B on it, and we're just going to roll the corners. And we're going to use our mouse wheel. We're going to roll it forward to give the edge more edges, so it's more of a smooth corner transition. Something like that. Then we can go ahead and curve the top if you really want to. Most of them do have a slight curve to the top. And it doesn't look the best, so I think I'm going to leave it. We can also try left click, then control left click to follow this around. Control left click, control left click, control left click. We could try it like that, and it might be a little bit better. Honestly, I think it's too many edges. It's just going to be too high in cost for what it is. So I'm just going to leave it like it is. Those are decisions you're going to have to make on your own depending on your project. You're not going to want to probably waste a ton of resources on this. So I would just leave it like that. Let's move on to the next step. So we're just going to make a cube. We are going to move it up a little bit and just kind of get it centered in our little island here, our little pump island. And you're probably going to need some pillars and stuff like that. So let's just get a couple things in place first. This is going to be our pump, for example. So I think it's about that wide. We're going to have to make some guesstimates here. And we'll probably go about that tall. Something like that anyways. So let's start off like that. So let's go ahead and make some of our pillars where we have a little bit easier of a scaling time to understand what we need. So just going to yank it over to the one side. Let's hit S, let it shrink down until it's about a good pole size, and then we're going to go to the scaler, and we're just going to scale it up like so. So it's nice and high over top. Let's go a little bit more, like so, and we'll bump it up for it's not sticking out of the bottom, not that it really matters. Let's go a little bit more this side to give ourselves some more room. Let's Shift D it. Shift D is going to just do a repeat. It's going to give you the exact same thing, the exact same spot. You can see which way to move it if you move it a little bit. So right click to cancel that. And it's this one that we were moving. So we're just going to take out the minus. And it's going to keep it exactly symmetrical to each other. So for the pump, let's start off. So we got an idea of our scaling now. It should help us a little bit with the build. Looks like there's quite a bit to the pump shape itself. So on the one I'm looking at, I'm using an example that I just looked up, gas pumps, and I'm just looking at a picture, a random picture. I'm not going to copy it exactly, obviously, because you don't really want to do that. But I'm just kind of having a look at it. Trying to mimic the shape as best as I can. There are two little pillars on the side of it, too, with a little roof over it. So let's go like a little bit more like that. That looks right. We're going to put a ring in the middle. So I've went into tab mode. The whole thing's highlighted. It doesn't really matter. We're going to hit Control R. It's going to give us a ring, and then we're going to decide where we want that ring to be. So what this is at the very base of the pump. The pump is exactly square, something like that. But at the top of it, if we go up to faces up here, this part is not so square. So if we go to our scaler, and we just pull it a little bit this way, we're going to be able to lean it in. So that way, when you're looking at your price of your gas and stuff like that, it's coming up straight to you. but not necessarily, it's not necessarily straight itself. It's going to give you a better viewing angle, basically. So something like that, that looks about right to me. Let's just give it a little bit of room. Yeah, maybe we'll scale it up just a tiny bit till we something like that. I feel like you're gonna have to play around with it, and again, you're gonna have to maybe have a look at a pump while you're doing it. So you're gonna make sure you don't miss any of the screens or anything like that. Let's try highlighting both sides. Let's see if we can make some of the panels. So right away we have kind of like this. Our main screen for the pump isn't exactly the same size as the other part. So if we go like this, and we just square it out a little bit more to give us an edge, and we hit E, it's going to give us the ability to move it, right? But we're going to right click to cancel it, and then we're going to take our scaler and just drag it in a tiny bit like so. And as you can see, it's just going to give us a little bit of a lip there to gives us more of a presented front. So again, I'm not exactly sure the best way to do this. I did not take a practice today, so let's go ahead and make another square. Let's drag it up. Let's scale it down, and let's start trying to make a decent size for our screens that we're going to need. So we're going to need a few screens to say the gas price. We're going to need a mount to hold the gas, things like that. So I'm just trying to think about it because we're going to have to do the exact same thing on both sides. So what's the best way to go about this? And we're not going to be able to do too many bools. So we might want to do is make a box to overlay the whole thing. So let's center it a bit more. Sorry, I'm reaching around my microphone here. So now we know it's centered at least. How should we do this? I kind of feel like we might have to put another spot like so here. But I also feel like that might be a mistake. Let's right click, let's cancel. 1 second. All right, I think I got an idea of how to do this. Now this might not be the best way, but I feel like it's going to be a good way for me, so I'm going to do it, and you decide if it's the right steps for you. We're just going to center that one like so, and we're going to grow it for it is hanging out at either side, just like so. Let's take it down a little bit and look a little bit more. So we're going to need a second one, so we're going to Shift D that one right away. We're going to drag it down to about here. Maybe a little higher. And let's just do a little work on this guy. I'll explain this as I go along what the plan is going to be. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to actually punch out a hole and then replace it with a second shape. So right away, let's just duplicate it when we get it into the shape and the spot we want. I'm going to go a little closer to the edge. I think it's going to look a little cleaner. That little tiny even edge all the way around. Have a good look. Make sure it's in the right place. Shift D looks good. Let's go with this one. This is going to be our screen for reading information like gas prices, messages that the gas station has for you, stuff like that. So we're going to go something like that. And then when we are just about sure that we are in place, I think we're going to be in place there. Kind of feel like it's a big gap at the top, so maybe we'll go a little higher here. That'll be our screen area. Hopefully this will work out. Shift D it when you're done, and then we're going to click this second one. And we've already Shift D'd them both, so we have a backup sitting there waiting. We're going to click the unit after with Shift and left click, and then we're going to go to Object. We're going to go to Booltron, and we're going to do a non-destructive difference. We're going to go ahead and apply that because we are good. We know it works. And then we're going to have to delete the extra. So let me just make sure we got the right piece here. No, we don't. I think that's it now. Yeah. So again, there's going to be another one here. It's going to be hard to click. I think I got it there. There we go. Let's just test. Make sure we got a clean cut. Looks good. Clean cut. Looks good. Sometimes doing destructive meshes can be a little bad. What is going on there? Actually, I just spotted something. Oh, okay, I see it. So that's just a little leftover of the boule. We just need to clean it up there. Okay, let's see what we can do here now. So now if we need to, we can also boule into the other shape here, which is going to make it a little easier. So when we put our pump in, since it's already a clean hole, it should just punch into that a little farther. Let's inset this just a hair like so. Okay, and then we're going to go into edit mode. We're going to go to edges, and we're just going to grab this top edge here and this top edge here. We're going to try to lean them in just a little bit. You're going to have a look and make sure it looks good and everything else, but I think it looks good. It's inset now, so it's going to give us the look we need, like a real computer screen. It's going to be a little more inset and just kind of look better. So we will work on this. This is going to be a couple steps. Again, the more details you add to something, the better it's going to be. Why can I not click on that right now? I'm in edit mode. That's why. Oh, my bad. So let's just do kind of the same thing with this one where we'll lean the top edges in just a little bit to match the angle of the pump itself. Something like that. And then we'll go out of edit mode and we'll shrink it something like this. So now when we make our pump hole, it should give us like an inset, another inset to set the pump handle into. So we'll leave that there for now. Let's move on to the next step, which would be probably giving this the little canopy that that I'm seeing over top of it. And again, I'm no gas expert. I don't look at pumps that much, so I don't really know offhand. I got to look it up just like you would. All right, something like that. And it looks like it either goes right beside or actually touches it. That'll be up to you if you want to leave a gap, depending on what you think looks better. You can pull it out here. You can put it right in there. Let's shrink it a little bit, though, because we just don't need that big of a wall. So let's make it a little smaller and then go in this way just a little bit. I think that's the right look I want. You got to do what you want to do, obviously, and what you think looks good. So we're just going to go something like this, and it's got to be a little taller. So let's go there and then drag it up to make sure we're in the right spot. I think we're in the right spot. So let's Shift D it. And again, it was this one. We're just going to add a little minus sign. It should give us exactly symmetrical. You want to keep in symmetrics with this one, I imagine. And it might have to be a little bit taller, but that's okay. We could adjust these, just drag them up a hair. And then when we expand, just go to the floor. There we go. It's okay if they go through a little bit. Shouldn't cause any issues. All right, we need a top piece for the top of that. So let's go ahead and make that. And we'll use a square. Some of these shapes, I know it starts off a little primitive, but it's pretty easy to get to the shape you need if you just know how to manipulate them. Expand it this way. Does that look right? Yes, it does, I think. Maybe a little thicker. And again, you're going to have to look at a picture or something at the same size time, or have a really good vision of what you're thinking of in your head. So it's looking like we're going to just turn off these bottom edges like so. Let's try that and see how this looks. Control B. I think that looks about right, honestly. It looks really kind of professionally type thing. We'll grab the bottom edge. Let's go to edges, or sorry, faces. We're going to hit I. We're going to inset it a little bit. Hit E, and we're just going to go up like that. And so it's going to give it a little more contour. We can change some of the colors now and just make it look a little bit more professional. I think it looks good. Hopefully you think it looks good too. Let's move on to the next step. let's grab this. Let's go into edit mode. Let's grab that face and let's grab that face at the same time with shift, and we're going to hit I. We're going to go in a little bit, and then obviously the edges are not very even, so we're just going to go clean it up a little bit like so. So they're nice and even. Then we're going to hit E again, and that's not going to go in, so let's pull it in like that. I right click to cancel it after I hit E. And so basically this is just going to be the holes that hold your gas pumps. We could put a hole right through for the actual pump, but I think it's going to be covered up once you put it inside of there either way. So I think that's good. Let's go on to our next step. So on these pictures, I'm seeing that the gas hose actually runs up into this top piece up here, and I imagine it runs down here. I don't exactly know on the insides, but it just kind of runs up to here. So we'll do the same thing. If you need to, you can add a little bit of a roof. What you could actually do is just copy this with Shift D and drag it up, or you can make yourself a new roof, but the top one's always a little bit bigger than the bottom one, something like that. You can also go on the inside of this with, click on this, tab into edit mode, we'll click on that face, we'll hit I, we'll drag it in just a little tiny bit, we'll even up the edges like we always have to do, and we'll hit I. And again, it just gives you that little edge on the inside. I really feel like it makes a big difference for some reason. And then there we go. As soon as it catches over top of it, we're looking pretty good so far, though. It's looking pretty gas pumpy, I'd say. I'd come get gas at your store already, and you don't even have your pump set up. Okay, what's next? We're going to have to make a handle, so let's start by making a square again. And again, make sure you're out of edit mode, because if you don't, you will make things and they will be attached to the next thing. You don't want that. So let's start shrinking it down. And we'll just try to get the basic handle shape. Something like this. There's a few different ways to do this. Let's Shift D. And I'm going to do it the cheap, easy way, which probably isn't always the best way, but that's how I'm going to do it today. Let's start here. We're going to take this bigger square, and of course I Shift D to make an extra one on the inside and shrank it a little bit just to be able to tell the two apart. And we're going to go up to edges up here, and then, you know what, we're probably just going to hit L over the whole thing, and then we're going to Control B it and just give it a little edge like so. Okay, we're actually going to take this second square. I'm going to move it out of the way for now because I don't think I'm going to use it there actually. So we're going to Shift D again. We're going to shrink that down like so. And then we are going to stretch it through the sides. And it's going to give us our hole for the inside of the handle. So you're probably not going to want to be quite that big. I'm trying to think of it because it's got to shrink down. Is that going to work? I think it's going to work. I don't know. I think it's going to work. All right, let's do that. Let's grab the piece. So we're going to highlight the piece with left click, shift left click the other piece, object. We're going to Booltron. We're going to do non-destructive difference. And we're going to prove that. It's going to give us a lot of edges on the inside of this one piece, but it should be all right since we don't have a lot of complicated pieces on this. And I don't know if that's the right one or not. I think this is the right one we got to delete. And it might have added another one down here that I'm not seeing somehow. Let's just move this guy out of the way. No, I'm not seeing it, so it must not be there. I don't know. That's good. All right, so we need to give it a more of a shape, first of all. We got a little bit of a handle shape now. I don't see any good pictures of a handle. I'm just going to have to wing it because I don't see anything. Let's do a cylinder, and you may want to take a little more time to make this piece a little bit better. I do understand I'm probably not doing it the best way, but I did not practice. I do not have any time these days. I'm literally running as fast as I can go, trying to keep up with the yard sale simulator. And I just got a couple minutes, and I figured I'd try to make this video because somebody did ask for it. And I don't want to leave anybody out or ignore anybody. Again, this doesn't seem right. I don't know what I've done wrong here. The shape's a bit off. Let's just go for it because I know it's a bit off and I probably should redo this piece here, but maybe take a little more time when you do it. That looks bad. But let's keep going. Let's just keep going because we just need to move forward. Let's move it like so. Get it centered-ish. Move it up a little bit because we are going to try to give it a little bit of shape. That seems a little short. Maybe something like this. Then we'll go into edit mode. We will grab the face here and we will drag it over like so. And then we're going to hit Control R. Let's drag it up, and we're going to slowly work this back over so it doesn't look so quite bad. Hopefully. There's probably a better way to do this that I'm not thinking of. I am in a bit of time crunch, and I do apologize. I imagine I could have been way more creative if I just thought about it a little bit more, but I just don't have time today. Something like that. It looks a little wrong there. I'm sure we could work on this angle a bit and just make it a little bit better. You know what? I'm doing this so stupidly. Let's delete that. Why am I doing this? See, that's what I mean if I just thought about it a little bit more. I just need to use my head here. So we're going to make a curve. That would make way more sense than trying to do it this way. So a curve's just going to be anything you want, really, and then you just got to change the diameter to the right diameter. So let's start by trying to figure out how to turn this thing sideways, because it's kind of random on these. You know what? That other way wouldn't work like that. Yeah, that'll work, I'm sure. So we're going to go into edit mode on it, and we're just going to move it around, manipulate the shape until we have the correct shape that we want for our handle, something like this. Might be a little bit too big. So you can pop in and out of edit mode while you're doing this. It should make things a little bit easier to help factor what you need here. So this looks like it needs to go that way and down. And we can fix the angle by fixing this, and then it's not so much of a weird curve and more of a straight up curve. Hopefully something like that. Let's get out of edit mode. Let's go over here to, I don't even know what this is, geometry, and then we will go to depths, and we'll decide our depth. That's probably about right. So at this point, we can either shrink it, grow it with S, depending what you need. I think about there is probably just about right anyways. And I know this handle shape is a bit off, but you're going to get the idea and you're going to be able to make it from this, I'm sure. So something like that. This is a little big, I guess. Maybe that's a little better. Get your stuff into proportion and until it looks right, obviously. Maybe something like this and something like this and something like this. It's going to take a little bit until you get the exact right shape, but you will get there. That looks a little bit more like a pump handle. I know it's still a little bit off, but good enough. You get the idea. Let's get that out of the way. I don't need it right now. What we could do is we're going to click this. We're going to convert it to a mesh. We're going to roll it over just a hair. Something like that. Move it into place a little bit better. And I think that's a better angle. It kind of helps a little bit. We're going to click on it first and then left click. Click on it first, then shift left click the other one. We're going to Control J just to make it a little easier to move around. We're going to make a second cylinder now. Let's go ahead and do that and drag it out. And again, if something's off to you, take the time, pause the video, and adjust it and make it right. I'm not claiming that I'm 100% on this design. I make things my way, and they're not exactly always the way that they're made, I guess. Um, but I think it'll look good, and it'll look good. You'll be all right. So let's grab this bottom shape, and we're just going to make the bottom of the pump handle where the, you know what? I've got this in the wrong position, don't I? Let's click off everything. I think I got this. Needs to be on the other side, like that. That would make more sense, right? Yeah, I think so. Okay, my bad. And we'll just run this up into there. We'll shrink it because it's got a kind of fit in it. Let's play around with it. Shrink it, shrink it, shrink it. Make sure all your edges are on when you think you got it in the right spot. And you can use this little hand. It actually helps to move around a little bit. There we go. Something like that. I think that looks pretty good. So what you're trying to mimic is the entrance point for the gas. Maybe we'll go a little bit smaller from the bottom of the handle. So something like that. I'm messing around too much. I'm getting too finicky. And let's go into edit mode on it. And let's go Control R on it. And we're going to drop that up near the top. Something like that to hold the edge for when we do this on the bottom. It holds the edge at the top and doesn't look as weird, maybe. Maybe we will actually do this. And then we're going to do this. Control R again. And we're going to go up near that one. We're going to hit S. And I think this looks pretty good. We might have to mess it around a little bit to get it into the right position. But I think it looks like a receptor. And that's kind of what we're going for. So make sure it's centered on your handle, which it is not. Do your best. You can also bump them all to the very middle to make sure that they're absolutely centered, which I might do. Next, so do we think this is centered? So what I would do with this is let's just drag it down a little bit, and we're just going to go like that a little bit, and like that, and then we're going to use that edge to stick out a little more of the handle. So you can see it, and it just looks a little more like a receptacle. We could drop it down again and overlap it with the hose. So let's do that now. Hit Control R, and we're just going to select up near, say here. Hit S again, and we'll stop there. And we're going to hit this bottom face up again. And there. So that way when we put our hose on, we can actually slip it over top of this. So they'll make a better looking connection together, and maybe add a steel ring after. Let's go ahead and add it to the pump handle. You can, again, pop it all into the center if you need to. We're going to left click on the one we're attaching to the one we want to attach, then shift left click the second one, Control J, and we have joined them together. Easy peasy. Maybe we'll just kind of pop it into place for now. So what we need to do here is turn this. That's the wrong way. We'll just reverse that. Try this. We're just doing 90 on each to see which way is going to turn it. So it's the bottom one. And we need a minus 90, it looks like. May have to play around with that. You can look at the top up here, and it does tell you your orientation. But me being super dyslexic, I just don't even use it at this point. It just confuses me more. All right. Let's pop it in here. Something like that. And obviously it's way too big, so let's shrink it down, shrink it down, shrink it down. Something like that. So we want to be coming out here, but it want to kind of look like it's held in there. I think that looks pretty good. You can make your adjustments to make it look a little better. Let's center it like so. Let's go ahead and make a gas hose now. So we need a hose going down here, flop it around, and it needs to head up to the top and go into the side of here. We might have to make another receptor at the top for the hose to make it look a little bit better. The more details you add, the better it's going to look. You keep that in mind. But also, the more details you add, the more the item's going to cost in-game. And what I mean by that is it's going to cost a lot of resources. So you need to be careful with that as well. And as you can see, we got the same thing on the other side. So hopefully we make something we can just copy and turn around 180 degrees and pop in the other side, no problem. We'll see what happens. So I just turned it 90 there for I can just not have to manipulate it as much. And if we get one more of the right ones, nope. We might be able to stand it straight up. It's just going to make my work, yep, perfect. A little bit easier. So manipulate yourself, shrink yourself down. So you're going to have to almost do this one in place. Otherwise, it's going to be going through things and going the wrong way at the wrong time. So let's, oops, I'm sorry, I'm messing up here. There we go. I'm going to shrink it just a little bit to make it just a little bit easier to work with. I wonder if we 180 that. Yep, that's perfect. So maybe that's a little easier. Let's move this guy in. Let's take that edge, straighten him out. So what we need is it to lean out a little bit for sure. And we'll just do our best to get it kind of centered here, because it will have to be 100% centered on this item. Let's move around, manipulate it. You're good. I think we need to go up like a millimeter, but we can always move it a bit more in place when we have it built. So that being that, let's grab this one at the bottom. Let's hit E. So let's right click to cancel the E after, because it's going to try to take off with you. And we're going to have to try to change this shape a little bit. And it's going to take a little bit of time, so just be patient. Something like this. So as you can see, the hose comes down. This might be a good time to maybe go over to the main one and drag it off to the side a little bit. Like so. And now it's going down, but off to the side. And then we just got to make a path to the top. So we're going to hit E again. Something like this. We could probably straighten this out now since it doesn't need to lean back there. Maybe even lean it the other way, like so. And click up there, hit E again. And we'll drag it in up here somewhere. Try to make sure it looks smooth and connects right. You're going to be able to see it a lot more when it gets bigger if there's an issue. But maybe we'll just use that one straight into there, something like this. I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We'll go and find the depth for it and open it up to 1. That might be a little big, obviously, so let's hit S. Sorry, make sure you're at a tab, at edit mode when you hit S, because it's going to shrink the whole thing, and that's kind of what we need. We might have to remove it a little bit after, but we need the hose to be the right size. So let's move this down because it's a little out of place now. It should hang down like that. Go into edit mode. We'll grab this and we'll just hit E. We'll just drag it up. And we just want to overlap that other piece. As you can see, it's a little bit too big still. So let's go past it because it's going to shrink and go too small. We'll go ahead edit mode and we'll hit S again. It looked like it had a little more to go than I thought it did, so move it up again a little past, and we're almost there though. I think that's pretty close. What we could do is make a little end piece for covering that up a bit too. So I'll show you after. Or we can make a ring here. I think that's good though. We'll just make a connecting piece that makes it maybe look a little bit better. We can move these down a little bit to give this hose a little more slack if we want. Jolt it over maybe a little bit that way. I don't know. Kind of natural hose, kind of floppy way. This is way off now, so let's adjust this again. But at least we're at the right hose size. So we just need to do this and drag it up. Pop it into place. So I'm going to do something like that and just set it in the roof where nobody can see it, and we'll put another connector there after. If you don't like where the hose is, let's fix it a little bit. You can change your angle down here, should help not look so awkward basically. But I think that's about the right look we need. We just need to make a few connectors to pop in over top of the gas hoses now. Eventually we'll make the whole thing one piece, but let's just get it all built first. So let's make another cylinder. Drag it out, drag it up. S. There's going to be a lot of manipulations trying to get in the exact right spot, obviously. And you may have to make some adjustments for a while. I might be not taking enough time on this. Let's get in as close as we can. Make some final adjustments. Just try to center that just the slightest amount. That's a hard one to get into place there. So what I'm trying to do is just trying to make something clog up this hole at the end of this, basically. So there's an open gap. There's another way we could do this too, but I feel like it's not the best. But let's try it actually. Let's just try it and see how bad it is. So grab the piece, go into edit mode on the piece. Oh, right. So first, right click. Okay, let's start over here. Click on the piece. Don't be in edit mode, so make sure you're at edit mode. Right click the piece, convert to a mesh. Go into your mesh, go into your edges, go to this edge and follow it around with control left click until you have the whole thing, and then we're going to hit F. As you can see, we filled it. I don't know if that's the best way to go about it, to be honest, but can lean a little bit that way if you want. Can even shrink it a little bit that way if we want. At this point, just pull it up. Might be a better way to go. It might be easier than trying to make a connection. It might be a better way for you. It might be a worse way. You decide what you want to do. You can also make a little connection, kind of like I did there. I think I will do that at the top here, just to make it look a little bit better. And we'll work on getting to the next step here. Okay, let's try to back out a little bit, because if you go in too far, even though you might not be that close, you won't be able to move any closer and your movements will become slow. It's a really weird thing with Blender. I think it's for precise movements, but it can be a pain in the butt sometimes. So I'm just going to use my hand and moving around there, because it's just not going to do that on me. So make sure we're bigger. Go into the top, go through it. Looks pretty centered from over here. A little bit off there. Something like that. And then we can make this a metal color to make it look like a metal receptacle. If you want to make it just look a little bit better, you could curve this front edge like so. Something like that. I think that probably looks fine. It's just a receptacle, so let's go ahead and attach it. Let's grab that. Let's grab that. And it should be the whole piece at this point. So let's Control J. Let's Shift D. So we have two of them now. Let's give it a little boost. And it's going that way. So I right click to cancel. We'll hit minus and we'll flip it there. And then we're going to hit 90 instead of minus 90. And we should be exactly in the other side, exactly the same spot. So we're good there. We got our computer screens. Let's look what else we need. Okay, so we probably need next is just some little buttons to show, you're supposed to pick a type of gas, how much, like 99, not 99%, how much octane is going to be in it type thing, 87 through 93, I think. Something like that. Anyways, you get the idea. I don't really care about the details, obviously. So let's go like that. Let's go S. We'll grow it this way. We'll make it thinner because we don't want it to be that thick. We will go into the wall here. let's just get it all into place first before we go leaning it back. So I've got a couple more steps. So I think what we want to do right now is Shift E because it's a perfect square. And then we're going to shrink that down. And then this, we're going to actually make a different shape. We're going to make it an oval like that. And then we'll shrink it down. Something like that, I think. Let's move this guy up. Something like this. Let's see. So it looks like that, I think. And something like this would be the button that goes on it, which we need to center. And you can do this in the exact center. It'd actually be a little more exact for you. So then there's less chance of bumbling up the centering and things like that. So if you have issues with stuff like that, just go ahead and recenter everything. And how you would do that is just drag it over, see which way you need to go for that. Let's just do it for you guys. We'll hit 0 and we're going to hit 0. Now we know this is exactly centered to each other. So this is exactly in the center of the other piece, side to side. But what we want to do with this piece, I shouldn't have moved it like that. I think it just moved on a weird angle. What we want to do with this piece is come out, highlight the back edges with Shift left click. And we got to eliminate these back edges like so. So it's only curving on the front. Control B. Decide on your angle. I think I'm going to go like that. It's a pretty buttony button. Something like this. And we'll go down like that. And I think that looks pretty good. There is also a slot up here that's going to indicate the price of the gas and the percentage and stuff like that. So let's drag this piece out. We just Shift D to make a new one. We'll hit S to shrink it, obviously. We're keeping this piece centered while we work on it too, just to give us a better idea of what we're seeing here. There's two ways you could do this. You could isolate a piece. Oh God, why don't I just do it? I'm just going to do it. Here, let's just do it. We're going to hit Tab. We're going to hit Control R. Oops, that did not do it. Control R. And then we're going to roll the mouse. So there's two of them. I'm going to go like that. So let's just drag them into a place. We're going to take them down to where we want them, to about there. So we're going to grab that box on the inside now, and we're just going to hit I. And that's going to give us something like this. We can change this shape. We can do whatever we need to make it the right shape. I think we need it like this and like this. So then that would be your display for your percentage or whatever. And we're just going to drag it in like that to give it an edge. And the reason being is it's just going to make it look a little better overall. Let's drag this out a little more. Try and give it some a better look as well. We're going to grab that after with Shift left click. We're going to Control J. We have the whole thing now. We're going to lean this back. Find the exact angle. And how we're going to do that is interesting. We're going to pull this edge in, and then we're going to try to match that edge. I think we're almost there. I think that's good enough. It doesn't have to be exact, but it doesn't hurt either. So we're going to do that. 1, 2, 3. And when we've got them all centered and they look really good, we're going to go grab the other one with Shift left click, Shift left click. We're going to Control J. And what do you think we're going to do with this? I think you guys know if you just use your heads, because the other side has to be the same exact. So I think it was this one. I'm going to get rid of the minus. Ooh, okay. Well, don't do that. Let's undo that. We're going to Shift D first. And it was not that one. So maybe it was this one. I kind of forget already. There we go. And now we need to turn it around. And you might have to drag it into place a little bit, but you get the idea. Let's just match the gap from side to side. So it needs to go just slightly over here. And I think that looks pretty good. I think we got our gas pumps, so let's go ahead and go to coloring, and hopefully you guys are happy with this and think it's going to work for your game. The coloring is going to help a little bit as well. You can add logos up here or whatever you need to do, and we should have made you enough spots and differences that you should be able to get the colors you need out of it. Let's start by going to our color. It may freeze up a little bit because it just likes to do that. It didn't freeze up. All right. Start off by, go ahead and make everything white. Sure, that looks good. So let's go with the white first, and then we'll slowly work on other things. Let's go L here. Sorry. Okay, so that's not attached, is it? Let's go back out, grab that, grab this, and then grab your pump, attach it. This isn't attached. This isn't attached. So we're just left click, then shift left click to grab the second, then shift left click to grab the third, which we're attaching it to, hopefully. 1, 2, 3. Control J. This isn't attached. This isn't attached. So let's just attach it all. And you can just do this to see what's attached and what's not. You can also go around and attach all these and then grab that one and attach it to this. It doesn't really matter. Should be 100% now. Okay, we're all attached. Let's go back to coloring. Sorry about that. So for this, we're going to go this, and we're going to hit L over top of it. It should run it right all the way through, basically. And we're going to give that its own color. We're going to have to be a little more specific to separate blacks and things like that, because when you're adding two of the same color, if you need to give them a difference, otherwise they're going to blend together, so you need like a tone difference in them. They are both black technically. Like I don't know what shade of black, but so let's just give them a second one. This one doesn't have a color yet, it looks like. So let's assign it a different, like gray black, just for now. As you can see, they are different. A lot of coloring to do. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. They need to be silver. So plus new. And assigning each slot's going to allow you to, once you bring it into your engine, to give it its own color as well. We're going to have to define those two colors a little bit more. Let's just go a little lighter for it looks different for now, for it stands out a little bit more. As you can see, that'll work. The problem is that there's so many close colors in these gas pumps. You'll have a bigger color palette when you're in your game. So let's make this one. Let's just do it jet black, and hopefully it's blacker than the rest of them, giving it a kind of better look for we can have a better example. And it is. It looks good. Okay, so what else is there? We got this. You could do some color schemes, like if you want to do like half and half. You could always add it like so. What do I want to do? I just hit Control R and roll the mouse. And then I'm just going to decide where I want these. So let's do this. Let's do this just to give it some different colors, to give it some variety on the object itself, and not just make it one big white pump. And we're going to drag this over, and I'm going to make a decal for a company logo, and I'm going to put it right here. So for now, we'll just do this and this. Oh no, I got to be on faces alone. Sorry, that and that. We're just going to go and give it its own color. And I'm just going to give it a red stripe down there, just like that. And say we'll do these three a different color too, just to give it again some more color to the item, make it look more realistic. It's all up to you, the colors you choose, stuff like that. So I think that looks pretty good. It's just something, give it some volume again. We could change the face of this, but I don't think we need to. So let's go like this. We're going to hit this one, and we're going to make them, I don't know what the standard gas color is. Let's just make them green. You can make your own color. You could choose a different one. It doesn't really matter again. And usually there's a second color in there mixed in. So let's make that one. Let's just make it blue. I'm going to make mine blue. You make yours your color you want. So like that is what I got. All right, so now that we've done that, we also got to give these some color. So we're going to go 1, Nope. We're going to be on faces and click 1, shift left click, and shift left click, shift. Oh, those ones got to be colored over there. Sorry. Might have been better to color and then just flop them over after, but this is going to be all right. We can easily color those ones. We'll give this a new color, and it's going to be a super dark green, like that, to give you the look of a computer screen face. I think it looks really good. Hopefully you guys do too. So what will we do here for these guys? I'm not really sure. Let's just do another yellow. Again, we just need to have different color slots. We can always mess with this stuff once we get into game. And as long as they're separated like we just did, they shouldn't interfere with the other colors, even if they are technically the same color. And this is blue, so let's go pink's a really bad color for that. I don't know what's a good color. Orange. There we go. There we go. That looks pretty good. And you're going to have to match the same thing on the other side. So let's go. Oops. You can always click off if you miss it. Hit L, and those two were the first green. So it should be in your color palette. It should be your first green. And that's the second color, blue. So we're just going to click off that, hit L on here, and make that blue. I imagine that's the right blue. And then we'll grab those little faces, and we should be all caught up for that stuff. Got our that, and then 2 extra yellow. They're going to be the bottom yellow. So let's get in here, click off everything, L, yellow, and then click off them, L, orange, bam. So we got that now. The face looks pretty good. The pumps look pretty good. We probably do things like change the color of these pillars. But I think we should do is do something up here. We could either match what we did on the bottom for the yellow-red, which might look pretty good. I canceled that. Or we could just do this whole thing a different color. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll make the whole thing a new red. And again, you could always mess with these, put a third color on it after. It's all up to you what you want to do. Just giving you the idea. I think that looks really good, actually. So I think we got it. I think we got our look that we needed. Sometimes there's a little sign on top of the gas pump part here, but I'm not going to put it in. We could also shrink it down. We could also do lots of little things with it. These definitely shouldn't be the same color, so let's go up here and hit this one, and let's try to make it look like more like our pump. We'll make that red up there, and we will make these yellow, per se. We will give it its own yellow just in case we want to change that. And there you have it. There's some gas pumps, simple and easy. Before we go, click out edit mode, click the whole thing. Let's shade smooth it. And then we're going to go over to here, and we're just going to go past 35, and we're going to ignore all sharp angles. And it should be looking pretty sharp now. It should be looking pretty smooth and awesome for you. And I hope that helps you today with your project. Whatever you're making, whatever you're doing, you can do this. You can get there, and it starts with just taking some time to learn how to build things. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Be sure to tell other people about it. I only do this stuff to help people. I already make my own games. I'm not really a YouTuber, so this is only to help you guys. So I hope it does help and it makes a difference and gets you through your project. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.